In spite of what I was going through in my personal life, while I was friends with these people, I always went out and kept a positive attitude and was still supportive of them. Yet, they manipulated and turned it around to make it seem like they were there for me or supported me when I was going through a tough time. Veronica was only willing to support if it involved going out and drinking the problem away. Toya was really only there when she wanted to talk about herself. Now, Veronica, I'm not sure what really made her think or feel that she could talk bad about me. When I even first started hanging out with Veronica, she didn't have any friends and she was well known for being someone who just talked stuff that she couldn't back up. Type who can spend all of her time on something negative but won't spend any time bettering herself, like getting a job, going to college, or just getting into therapy. The same way in which Veronica talked about me is the same way in which she talked about others when she and I first started hanging out. Being two-faced is just natural to her. She has internal problems that she does not know how to address. So she takes it out on other people. First of all, her family. And when going out in public, she was always expressing negativity towards other women, which was an expression of her insecurities. There were 2 separate occasions in which we had confrontations with other women. I look back and Veronica is gone. Going out with Veronica was all about getting drunk as fast as you can because she wanted to wash away her problems. She will pressure you to go out to drink like that is her whole life. She can't think about anything else. Veronica is the type who feels more confident when she is inebriated. She didn't really go out to have a good time, she just went out to get drunk. So she spent her nights getting tore back and her days being hungover. In her confidence is when she starts saying things like, oh, that girl over there is looking at us funny, and that girl over there made a rude gesture. When in reality, these women were just trying to have a good time like everybody else. I had tried to coach Veronica on her behavior many times throughout our relationship. I felt sorry for her because it was clear and obvious that she was not able to function in society. She did not go out to do things outside of drinking or partying. I should have just told her that she needed therapy and left it alone at that.
You can't just push information on people. They gotta want to know it. They gotta want to change their life.
They gotta open the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Veronica claims that she's a friend and that she was there for me, but the only time I hit a low point when Veronica was actually around was when I was going through a pregnancy. She wouldn't even come out unless there was an open bar involved. So she was willing to drive the 30 minutes from her house to a restaurant that was having an open bar so that we could meet there, and that was going to be friend time. Selfishness. These types of people aren't friends. By the time my relationship got bad, she was already gone. She was only willing to come out as long as her needs were being met. Never once did she offer to come out or hang out or do anything that did not involve getting wasted. And it got to the point where in my personal relationship with my ex, Veronica was starting to cause problems. Like I said, Veronica felt more confident when she was drinking, and she felt confident enough to one time text my ex from my phone calling him a punk bitch. Now, my ex and I were already having problems on our own, even though this was before the abuse started. So, of course, that sparked even more argument between my ex and I told Veronica directly that her behavior that I had already discussed with her in the past was now starting to cause problems in my personal life, and I wasn't going to have it. I told her that she needed to work on herself more. Once again, because I was dealing with a narcissist and telling them the truth, being upfront and forward with her, she did not want to be friends anymore. Because when you are not reflecting the image that a narcissist has of themselves or of their surroundings, they cannot be around the truth. Veronica also felt like her feelings mattered more than anyone else's, could care less about how I was feeling or about what I was going through, even as a friend. This is an example of how narcissists manipulate the truth, because she needed something that would elicit pity. She needed to shift the blame and the light from her behavior because it's not something that she knows how to correct. And she knows that people with common sense are not going to want to deal with that. That's where Veronica's mask comes in. In order for her to fulfill her desire to go out and drink and wash away her problems, being that she is insecure and cowardly, she cannot go out alone and needs to have people to go with. So she had to manipulate the truth to make herself socially acceptable.
Leave that alcohol alone. That's the move. All right.
So with Al, I've written about Al already. The information on him is particularly useful if you are in an intimate relationship with a narcissist. Al was very manipulative. Wait, hold up. I allowed myself to be manipulated because I knew better. If you know better, do better. You do not have to be nice to everybody. It was the ultimate wake-up call for me, and it made me realize that not only was I allowing a negative person to infiltrate my home life, but I had also allowed these other narcissistic people to infiltrate my personal life in other ways, such as friendships. Early on in the relationship, he would do things like try to get me to repeat after him as a way to get me to agree with him. Literally try to get me to say the words he was saying. Red flags. One time when I told him I didn't want to be in the relationship, he looked me in the eyes and said, "Yes, you do love me. Say it." He would always manipulate me into believing that there was something there that I wasn't seeing. Narcissists will play off of what they know is your kindness and your tolerance, all to gain what they want. So I was trying and putting effort into something that I didn't really want, but for his sake. It even got to the point where he was trying to use my child to manipulate me by saying that I shouldn't be a single mom and that my child needed a father figure. So even though I had left many times, I was always manipulated into giving the relationship another try or more time. Every time we got back together, it wasn't long before it was back to the same old thing. I literally had to tell him not to contact me anymore or I would get a restraining order.
He's a little slow, but he got it. See,
he was trying to use the same methods he had used before to weasel his way back in. Even though I filed police reports on him, I should have put his ass in jail. Abuse is never acceptable. That's why you need to get away from them and stand firm in that. The reality was I had become a part of Al's false image. I had become a part of the false image that he presented to everyone else. There weren't any pictures that we took together that didn't have an argument behind them. I always felt like this doll being dragged around. I had to go everywhere he went. I would literally be in my office at work thinking, how the hell am I going to get away from this guy? I had also become a part of the false sense of self that he had. By staying in a relationship with a narcissist for an extended period of time, you allow them to believe that they have what it takes, that they don't have to actually do the work to be genuine people because a genuine person wants to be around them. He is the type who would use the fact that I stayed around, even though it was through manipulation, as a way to build up a false sense of self in his own mind and probably in the minds of others. Al also lied about what happened between us. He did not want to admit or acknowledge his wrongs, which is a classic narcissistic trait. They want the fault and blame to go on the other person because they are incapable of handling and taking responsibility for themselves. The truth that I spoke to Al, that I was not in love, I wanted to see other people, and I didn't want to be in the relationship. So him reacting to the truth in an abusive way was also a reflection of how far he was willing to go to maintain his facade. When you really care about someone or when you really love someone, it doesn't matter if they want to be with you or not, you want them to be happy.
A lot of people don't know how to give love because they don't even know how to love themselves. And a lot of people don't know how to give love because they're so self-centered and just focused on what me can get.
Now, I want to acknowledge and think that everyone who deals with narcissists or has dealt with narcissists needs to acknowledge I made that decision. I allowed these people in my life. And that really made me realize that there was something fundamentally wrong with me. Because even though I knew I could do better and that I deserved better than these friends and that relationship, I was not consciously making the choice to have better people around me. Now, I redeemed myself. I opened myself up to being able to do things that these people couldn't do, having better lovers who had their shit together. I opened myself up to reconnecting with family and friends and connecting with new people who also could generate their own positive energy. It really was as easy as saying, I can do better and I'm going to. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., Julian Assange, Angela Davis, Beverly Eckert, Jesus, Jeffrey Wiggins, Gandhi, even Pimp C, and Old Dirty Bastard.
you know who got caught in the Range Rover with the boy, okay?
William Cooper. All of these people were either harassed, slandered, or abused in some way
All right.
for speaking the truth. To guarantee the people that they were against were narcissists. Any issue or problem that we can think of in our world today can be traced back to a narcissistic individual or group of people. Perversion, selfishness, greed, misuse of power, these are all narcissistic characteristics. Let's connect the dots. We cannot look at all the things that are going on around us and not be taking a look at ourselves. The people I'm describing may have been particular to my situation. They are people that work with, they volunteer next to you, they are your friends, they are your family. They are not willing to look at themselves or look within because they know that they're not going to like what they see.
It just shatters their whole entire world, like, and their way of thinking. It hurts so much. It's way too comfortable for them to just stay the way they are.
Oftentimes people know how they are and don't speak up about it. But all in all, that is no one's problem but theirs. There are a lot of other places where you can pour your positive energy. People who are being oppressed, abused children, wildlife organizations, or animal shelters. I mean, we have species being wiped off the face of the earth. Narcissists do not need your tolerance and kindness. That has obviously not been working. What they need is therapy. As a genuine person, what you need to be around are people who love and support you, who encourage you to be your best rather than helping you cover up your BS. It is not your fault that someone has to lie to be accepted. And it was not my fault that these people were unable to engage in an adult dialogue simply because the topic was adverse to them. The only thing I do regret is spending time with people who didn't deserve it, and not enough time with the people who did. Spend time with those who matter. Let the fake people hang together. Genuine people are too strong, too awesome, and have too much to offer the world to be standing down to narcissists. Stop keeping these people's secrets. Stop letting them lie on you. If it doesn't flow, just let it go. You will feel so relieved when these people leave your life. They are nothing more than a drain on your energy.
I live a very transparent life. In order for people to look at my story and hope that it will inspire them, because a lot of people wake up every single day and put on these beautiful masks and they don't truly live who they are because they want to be accepted.